Hello, it is Renee LePay here, and today I'm preparing for my 5-week body, mind, and soul cleanse. And one of the steps in preparation is understanding the 10 enemies or potential enemies to eliminate from your diet and the importance of the elimination. I will also talk about foods that are generally friendly to our bodies and the foods that you will be eating during the cleanse. I want you to keep in mind that every body is different. Therefore, going through the cleanse, you're going to be able to get in tune with your body, and it will help you to customize your meal plans that are best for you now and in the future. So, some of the information that I'm going to share with you, you may have already heard, and some of it may be new. Regardless, I encourage you to take notes and pick up new tidbits of information, as applying just a few changes to your eating habits may be just the help you need to improve your health. So let's get started with the FOE list, the potential enemies. This is a list of 10 foods on my FOE list that can cause brain fog, rosacea, arthritis, asthma, congestion, dark circles under the eyes, eczema, fatigue, irritability, the inability to lose weight, could be mood swings, gas, throat tickles, bloating, skin issues, premature aging. The list goes on. Now, who wants all of that? I know I don't. So the foods that I'm going to talk about are some of the biggest culprits to keeping you from reaching your health goals. So let's kick these culprits out of your kitchen and possibly out of your life. Since it can be hard to just simply eliminate these foods, I'm also going to give you some substitutions for the foods, as the last thing I want for you is to feel deprived. So food number 1 to avoid is gluten. Gluten disrupts digestion by damaging the microvilli in the small intestine, which is where most of our absorption of nutrients takes place. You may have heard of celiac disease, which is an extreme gluten intolerance. And just one bite of food containing gluten can be very dangerous for someone with celiac disease. For the rest of us, gluten may just cause symptoms that make us uncomfortable. They say 30 to 40% of us may experience bloating, hold weight, or feel fatigued when having just that occasional bite of bread or that bottle of beer or food containing gluten. So many of you already know when you experience a variety of symptoms from eating gluten. Well, there are some great substitutions which are important, since our body needs starchy foods. We don't want to just eliminate the, all starches out of our diet, because we need starchy foods for a healthy brain function and to give us energy. So some substitutions are quinoa, buckwheat, millet, brown rice, wild rice, and other non-gluten grain. These non-gluten grains can be difficult to digest when your digestive system has been compromised. Therefore, when we go through this cleanse, I will have you eliminate them for 21 days to allow your digestive system a chance to heal. When baking, you can substitute flour with almond flour or coconut flour, or flour made from ancient grains. I use the Premium Gold brand, which I buy at Costco, and it's made from brown rice, flaxseed, quinoa, buckwheat. It's just a great blend of grains, and I find it works as a replacement in any recipe that calls for flour. Some other substitutions to get starches into your diet are winter squashes, sweet potatoes, and yams. There are many varieties, all with a different nutritional value, so you want to kind of mix it up a little bit. You can get acorn squash, butternut, Hubbard, spaghetti squash, pumpkin, and many other winter squashes, along with the sweet potatoes and yams. And remember that sweet potatoes and yams are higher on the glycemic index, so you'll want to limit the amount with each meal. We want to keep our foods that are on the glycemic index just a little bit lower. So another thing to remember is sweet potatoes come in a variety of colors. We simply, most of us I think of sweet potatoes as orange. Well, you can also find yellow and purple sweet potatoes, so look for them and try the different sweet potatoes to add some variety to your diet. You can bake or mash the sweet potatoes and yams, and do the same with the squashes. Just mix it up a little bit so you don't get bored with the same thing. But in addition to not getting bored, you also change the nutritional value that you add to your diet. So bake or roast your squashes. You can serve them with a little olive oil and sea salt and pepper. You can add them to soups and salads or even casseroles. They're delicious a variety of ways. When I make spaghetti, I use spaghetti squash, baked spaghetti squash that is, as a substitute for pasta. And I just love the different flavors that it adds to the meal. As we go through the 5-week cleanse, I will provide you with recipes to incorporate some healthy starches into your diet. The number 2 food to remove from your diet is soy. Now, soy is derived from the soya bean. It is high in protein, has a high fiber content, and is high in omega-3 fatty acids. So I'll bet you might be wondering about now, with all of these great qualities, why is it important to eliminate soy from your diet? Well, let me tell you. Most soy is highly processed and stripped from the vital nutrients your body needs. Chemicals are used during the process, and these chemicals can be harmful to your body. Soy also disrupts the hormones and may impair the absorption of nutrients. Now, one of the things that I'm a stickler about is checking labels, really seeing what's in the food I'm putting into my body. And as I read labels, I find that soy is added to many products as a natural flavor. So it's important to check your labels to ensure the products you're purchasing don't have soy. It can be found in just about everything that is processed, in breads, in meats, in canned foods, you name it, you can probably find soy in it if it's been processed. So many people are sensitive to soy as it disrupts hormones from the phytoestrogens in the soy, and it can block the absorption of calcium and magnesium. Some great substitutions are tempeh and miso, and organic fermented soy is another option. If you absolutely can't live without your soy, please ensure you're purchasing organic soy to stay away from some of the chemicals. Now, if you're using fermented soy, the fermentation process breaks down the soy and makes it easier to digest, and it also adds probiotics, which helps your digestive process. I highly recommend that you completely eliminate all soy from your diet for 21 days and add it back in for a day to see how your body responds. If you use a lot of soy sauce, a couple of substitutes that I recommend are liquid aminos or liquid coconut aminos. These are great substitutes, and I think they taste just like soy sauce. My family doesn't even notice the difference when I substitute soy sauce for liquid aminos. The third food that I want you to eliminate is dairy. This is cheese, yogurt, milk, all those great things that are made from dairy. We want to eliminate dairy for 21 days to see if you have any symptoms that may clear up. Now, we know that dairy causes allergies in many people and can cause skin issues and fatigue. A large portion of the population is lactose intolerant, which means they are lacking the enzymes necessary to digest the dairy, and that creates issues with bloating, fatigue, skin issues, a great number of issues within our body. So some substitutions, if you need a substitution for butter, I use either coconut oil or ghee. Now, ghee is clarified butter, which lacks the lactose and the casein, which is the protein that people have trouble digesting. Ghee can be found at most health food stores. A good substitution for milk is your homemade nut milks. That would be almond milk, hemp milk, cashew milk. And you notice that I said homemade. Knowing that when we homemade our nut milk, we know what we're getting. We can start with the organic nuts, and we make milk that's going to be highly nutritional rather than processed. Our store-bought nut milks are highly processed and oftentimes stripped of the many nutrients that our body needs. But if you don't have time or you choose not to make it, you can purchase it. Just check the label to ensure that it's organic, and know that you won't be getting as many nutrients as you would if you were using homemade nut milk. The number 4 item I want you to remove from your diet is corn. And I know this one can be tough for many of us, as we love our corn, right? Corn on the cob in the summer, canned corn or frozen corn in the winter. It's just yummy. But we want to avoid corn as it's high on the glycemic index and it will spike your blood sugar. So one of the things we want to do is balance our blood sugar. Also, most of our corn today is genetically modified and contains harmful chemicals. So this is one of the big reasons we want to avoid corn. Now, popcorn is a member of the corn family, but it is lower on the glycemic index. So if you're going to eat popcorn, that's okay, but you want to eat it organic and you want to cook it in coconut oil. Avoid the microwave popcorn as it is unhealthy for several reasons. Number 1, it contains many unhealthy additives and oils. And number 2, cooking foods in the microwave kills the nutritional value of your food. So I try to stay away from the microwave at all times. I find I can quickly heat something up on the stove or throw it in the oven, kind of go back to the old days, how I grew up before we had a microwave. Now, there are a lot of substitutions for corn. We have so many wonderful vegetables available to us, and they're a great substitution for corn. If you need a substitution for corn tortillas, you can make cauliflower tortillas, and that's a great substitution, and they're yummy. The number 5 item that I want you to remove from your diet, excuse me just a minute, is sugar. Now, sugar causes inflammation and feeds the yeast in your gut and unbalances your blood sugar. Did you know that most diseases start with inflammation in the body, and when we feed that inflammation, it only makes matters worse? So we want to stay away from sugar so we're not feeding that inflammation. Now, some great substitutions that you also want to use in moderation are dates, Maku honey, or local raw honey. Stevia is another great substitution, but when using stevia, I just caution you, start with a small portion as it can be very overpowering. So if you get too much, your food's not going to taste very good. So just start small and add a drop at a time. Also remember that each brand tastes a little different. So if you try stevia and you don't like the first one, try another one. Just don't give up on the first one you try. Stevia can be purchased in a liquid or powder form, and personally I like the liquid form best, as it's easier to use by just adding a drop at a time to whatever I'm baking. Now, eggs is the 6th item that I want you to remove from your diet, and again, this can be temporary just till we see how our body reacts to the eggs. Eggs can be inflammatory to the body unless they come from free-range chickens. And there's not a lot of free-range chickens out there these days. So most eggs that you purchase from the store come from caged and corn or soy-fed chickens. Therefore, it's really important that you know the source of your eggs. Remember, if those chickens eat corn and soy, and then you eat those eggs, you're going to be eating corn and soy, 2 of the items that we want to stay away from. So I'll bet some of you may be wondering, if I can't eat eggs for breakfast every morning, what's going to be my first meal of the day? Well, smoothies are a great substitution for breakfast. I love just to make a quick smoothie with a little almond milk and some great vegetables, and sometimes I add just a dash of fruit if I need that sweetness. But smoothies are easy, they're quick, and they are a great source of nutrition. You can also use soups and leftovers for breakfast. I know I make 1 or 2 batches of soup on the weekend, especially in the winter time, and I blend it up so I can just heat it in a small pan on the stove. Yep, I heat it on the stove and it only takes a few minutes. Then I pour it into a mug and I drink it while I'm getting ready for work or on my way to work. Or sometimes I just sit down at the table and eat a bowl of soup for breakfast. And remember that you want to chew your soup even when you're drinking it, as chewing stimulates the digestive enzymes that help break down the food and improve the digestive process. And as I mentioned, leftovers, any leftovers can be easily reheated, and they're a great choice for breakfast in place of eggs. Now, the 7th thing I want you to eliminate from your diet is legumes. Legumes contain lectins and compounds that can trick your immune system into attacking itself and causing diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis. Now, legumes can be hard to digest and wreak havoc on the digestive system. So that's why we're going to remove them during the cleanse through the elimination diet. Kombu or Rancho Gordo beans are great substitutions. Just be sure to soak your beans for 24 hours to remove the lectins from your beans so that you're getting healthy beans. Peanuts are the 8th thing that I want you to remove from your diet. Peanuts provoke food allergies for many people and are often contaminated with a carcinogenic mold. Many peanut butters contain a high amount of sugar and are highly processed, meaning a lot of chemicals and removal of the nutritional value. Therefore, you want to avoid peanut butters the majority of the time. Make sure, again, you're reading the labels and you know what's in the peanut butter that you're eating. Is it made from organic peanuts? And I just suggest that you avoid peanut butter altogether. Now, I would substitute peanut butter with almond butter or cashew butter. Make sure they're organic and check your labels, because oftentimes they have a lot of sugar added as well. In place of eating just peanuts, you can eat pumpkin seeds, you can eat raw almonds, some raw cashews. You might have noticed that I mentioned raw seeds and nuts. That might be sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, because you don't know what kind of oil was used if you buy roasted seeds and nuts. So more than likely it wasn't organic, and you want to make sure that you are putting a good source of nutrition into your body. So look for organic nuts and seeds to replace peanuts, and your organic almond butter or cashew butter to replace peanut butter. There, you can also get pumpkin seed butter or tahini. Those are also good substitutions. And I know that some health food stores have machines that you can use to make your own raw nut butters, and then no sugar is added. So you just go purchase the nuts, put them in, and make the machine makes your nut butter, comes out, and it's ready to go. The ninth thing that I want you to remove from your diet is caffeine. And I know this probably isn't very popular, and some of you aren't going to want to do it, but let me tell you why it's important to remove caffeine from your diet. Caffeine increases the acidic load in the body, and it increases cortisol, which helps you to hang on to weight, and it also disrupts your sleep. So I know we're used to drinking caffeine, and as we go through the cleanse, I'll give you some tips that first week for removing caffeine from your diet, because we all know when we go cold turkey, gives us a massive headache. So I'll give you some tips to help you through that. But lemon water is one of my favorite substitutions, and you can drink lemon water warm or cold. And lemon water also curbs your sweet tooth. If you're having sweet cake cravings, you can drink a little lemon water, and it's amazing how it takes those sugar cravings away. So it not only replaces coffee, but it takes away your sweet cake craving. So you can also drink organic herbal teas. Just check to ensure they don't contain caffeine. Or another option is hot bone broth. And we'll talk more about hot bone broth when I get into the friendly foods, so hold on tight to learn more. And the 10th thing that I want you to remove from your diet is alcohol. And this may be another toughie for some of us, as we like to have a glass of wine or a beer with dinner or to relax at night. But we want to try and avoid alcohol, as it taxes our liver, it feeds the bad bacteria in the gut, and it disrupts your sleep. I know that seems a little contradictory to what we've always been told, that it relaxes us and makes us sleep better. And while it might make you sleep better for a short time, it generally disrupts the quality of your sleep. So alcohol is something we want to avoid. And the substitution again for alcohol is lemon water, one of my favorites. So I hope you took some good notes on the foods to avoid and the substitutions for the foods you want to avoid. And now that I've talked about the faux foods, or the foods that are potential enemies, I want to move to the friendly foods, or the foods that are best to include in your diet, and the foods that we're going to include while we are on the 5-week cleanse. So just 1 minute, let me wet my whistle with my herbal tea. So these foods that I'm going to talk about are considered friendly because they stabilize our blood sugar, help decrease inflammation and digestion, and nourish your body. So let's start with whole foods. Whole foods are fresh, organic whole foods, and they are recommended for the cleanse and whenever possible after the cleanse. Now, canned foods are not recommended, as they may contain BPA, aluminum, preservatives, and may also be stripped of their nutritional value through the processing. Whole foods contain your fresh vegetables, limited fruits, those that are low on the glycemic index scale, and you want grass-fed organic meats. So a few of my favorite detoxifying foods are cruciferous vegetables and leafy greens, and there is an abundance of cruciferous vegetables and leafy greens. There are so many varieties available, and it's really easy to incorporate them into your daily diet. So right now it is wintertime in Utah, and I know it's sometimes hard to find fresh vegetables in the wintertime in Utah. But our grocery stores are getting better and better at stocking a good organic produce section. So I shop at Smith's, which is a Kroger chain, and I know they have one of the best produce sections, organic produce sections in my city. So check your grocery store, check the health food store. You might check Whole Foods if you have a Whole Foods. Trader Joe's has some organics. I think there's a store called Sprouts, and they have quite a few organics, just depending on what part of the country you're in. Some of the warmer climates, California, Texas, you might still be having farmers market, and you can get these fresh organic foods from your local farmers market. I joined a CSA. We have a farmer here locally that greenhouses vegetables throughout the winter, and I order my vegetables. He sends me a list by email on Wednesday, lets me know what he has, and I put in my order and I go pick them up on Friday. It's a great way to support my local community in addition to getting the fresh organic whole foods in my diet. So some whole foods you might want to consider are kale, collard greens, dandelion, arugula, spinach, lettuce. There's a lot of varieties of lettuce. Chard, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, broccoli sprouts, and even Brussels sprouts. There are so many just delicious vegetables available. Now, our cruciferous vegetables are broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, Brussels sprouts. Those are loaded with phytochemicals, and lab studies have found that these phytochemicals actually stimulate enzymes in the body that detoxify carcinogens before they damage cells. So on top of that, cruciferous vegetables are incredibly powerful in cleansing your liver of everyday toxins. So you might be asking, why is this important? Does your liver really get overloaded with environmental toxins? And the answer is yes, it does. Your body is exposed to toxins in the water, in the food, in the air, in the environment, even in your skincare and everyday personal care products. Then you eat processed foods on top of that, and your liver gets overworked. So loading up on greens stimulates the body's own natural ability to clear out the toxic junk. Now, green foods, our leafy greens, our cruciferous vegetables, they contain minerals, antioxidants, and cofactors that support the liver detox pathways. So they are also abundant in chlorophyll, which has the ability to suck up environmental toxins from your blood. It adds oxygen to your blood, as well as the ability to neutralize chemicals, pesticides, and heavy metals. So we want to have ingest a lot of chlorophyll to help with the cleansing process. Now, you can get bitter greens like arugula, dandelion greens, and mustard greens, even chicory, and these help increase the creation and flow of bile and aid in the removal of waste from your organs and your blood. So we want some of those bitter vegetables. I like to mix them in my salad rather than just eat them plain. So you get a little bit of bitter with the rest of your vegetables, and to me they're more palatable that way. Your cruciferous vegetables and leafy greens also have a high fiber content, so eating them literally scrubs your digestive tract clean, and it cleanses your colon too, which is important. The high fiber content also helps fill you up, so you're likely to feel full faster and eat less. So we really want to load up on these fibrous vegetables. Fiber can also help temper your blood sugar by slowing down the absorption of carbohydrates into your bloodstream after meals. So it is easy to incorporate greens into your diet. You can eat a big green salad. You can make soups and stews. You can add them to casseroles. You can cook them a number of ways. You can just eat them raw. If you have digestive issues, you want to lightly steam or cook your cruciferous vegetables, as that breaks down the hard outer shell, and you need to do that to make the digestion process easier on the cruciferous vegetables. Leafy greens can be eaten raw, cooked, or even juiced. They can be blended into smoothies, soups, and salad dressings. You can marinate them. You can add them to nuts and seeds. There's a number of ways to eat vegetables. So just use your imagination and add greens to everything you make. I use greens to make tasty wraps, which is a cleansing alternative to tortillas. I love lettuce wraps just to add a little bit of hummus and different vegetables inside a piece of lettuce and eat it as I would a tortilla. So just many alternatives. You can use your cruciferous vegetables, even some of your peppers and other things like that for an alternative to crackers for guacamole or a healthy dip. So just lots of options. Now the next thing I want you to add to your diet is lemon water. Lemons are chock full of vitamin C, B complex vitamins, calcium, magnesium, and potassium. And fresh lemons also contain fiber, which is good for your digestive system, as we just talked about in the green section. So lemon water boosts your immune system, it detoxifies your digestive system, it aids in weight loss and stimulates the functions of the liver. So lemons are good for fighting viral infections and decreasing uric acid, which causes joint inflammation. I recommend that you squeeze the juice of 1/2 a lemon into 8 to 12 ounces of room temperature water every morning upon rising and drink that. If you do this first thing in the morning, a lot of times it'll curb your appetite for that caffeine. And then eat a high protein packed breakfast 15 to 30 minutes later. So the lemon water is going to start the cleansing process as you wake up in the morning. It is a good way to help rid your body of the dead cells that have been released through the healing and repair process during the night, and it just helps move toxins through your body and eliminate them through your urine. The next thing I want you to add is filtered water. Know that our tap water contains many toxins, and this may vary from city to city. Some common contaminants found in tap water are chlorine, fluoride, lead, mercury, pesticides, arsenic, and herbicides. And these toxins wreak havoc on our brain, our body, and our digestive tract. So it's best not to drink tap water, if at all possible. We want filtered water, and the best option in filtering is a solid block carbon filter. The one I use is a Berkey filter, as it removes all of the contaminants I just mentioned. Now the pitcher water filters do not remove all of the contaminants, but they are better than nothing. So filter your water when at all possible, and stay away from bottled water, as it absorbs toxins from the plastic in the bottle. Now, another thing is, as we drink bottled water, we fill up our landfills with all of that plastic, which is not good for our environment. I also have another little trick. I put my filtered water in the sun. I just cover it with cheesecloth so the bugs stay out of it, and then my water takes on the energy of the sun, and if there's any traces of chlorine left, those traces evaporate through the sun. So I just like having that added energy to my body, and I don't know, I just think it makes my water taste a little bit better. If you don't like plain water, add a little bit of liquid chlorophyll that's got a minty flavor to it, or you can also add lemon juice, or you can infuse it with cucumbers or some of your berries. There's a lot of ways to flavor your water to make it taste better so it's more palatable to you. And it's important to drink 1/2 your body weight in ounces of water every single day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you want to drink 75 ounces of water at a minimum each and every day. The next thing I want you to add to your diet is turmeric. So turmeric is related to the ginger family and can be used in many dishes, in your soups, your stews, your broths, casseroles, and vegetables. You'll want to look for the non-GMO, genetically modified, and the organic brands. One I like is Spicely Organics, and it's a great way to help reduce inflammation in the body and can reduce joint pain and also improve our memory. Who couldn't use a little improvement in the memory, right? So it's best to use turmeric with black pepper, as this helps it to be more easily absorbed into the GI tract. I want you to add ginger to your diet if possible. Ginger is soothing to the digestive tract and has been shown to aid digestion. It lowers cholesterol and blood sugar and helps reduce joint pain and relieves headaches. So ginger has a lot of great properties. You can peel it, chop it, grate it, use it in soups or stews or smoothies. I add it to my smoothies just to give my smoothie a little bit of zip to the day. Cinnamon is another great spice to add to your diet. Again, I look for non-GMO or organic brands such as Spicely Organics or Mountain Rose Herbs, which is an online source. They have a great section of organic herbs and spices. So I purchase my cinnamon through there. Cinnamon helps to regulate your blood sugar and boost the function of the brain. It's also a great sweet treat when eaten on apples or in smoothies. And one of the things that we'll talk about in the cleanse is the apple cider vinegar cocktail, and it's a great addition to this cocktail. So you'll want to use cinnamon with caution if you're on blood thinning medications or blood glucose lowering medication, and make sure you consult with your physician before using cinnamon if you are on any of these medications. The next thing I want to talk about adding to your diet is bone broth. Bone broth is easy to make, and homemade is more nutritious and flavorful than store-bought broth, but there is the option of store-bought broth. Know that many store-bought broths are highly processed, and that removes much of the nutritional value. And some have added artificial flavors, so you'll want to read your labels again. Now, bone broth has a lot of great benefits. It produces gelatin, calcium, magnesium, glucosamine, and phosphorus. The gelatin strengthens our fingernails and improves our hair growth. It also helps protect the lining of the digestive tract. Glucosamine encourages the growth of collagen, which helps our bones, and the calcium and magnesium and phosphorus help the growth and repair of our bones. So a lot of great benefits to bone broth. Oh, one other thing is it also contains amino acids that fight inflammation and encourage sleep. So it's really easy to make, delicious to drink, and I use it for the base of my soups and stews. Now, I talked for just a minute ago about apple cider vinegar cocktail. Well, apple cider vinegar is something that we want to add to our diet on a daily basis. We want the organic, raw, unfiltered, and unpasteurized apple cider vinegar to help maintain a healthy alkaline pH and break up the mucus in the body. I use Bragg's, B-R-A-G-G-S brand, and it's got the mother in it, so you'll see little floaties at the bottom of it, but those little floaties that are considered the mother are really good part of the apple cider vinegar. So apple cider vinegar is also rich in enzymes that can help your body rid itself of candida, which is a yeast, and oftentimes we have a yeast overgrowth. So a lot of health benefits to adding apple cider vinegar to your diet. And if you don't want to just drink it in the cocktail, diluted with water, you can also put it over your vegetables or use it as your salad dressing. So a lot of great options to get apple cider vinegar into your diet. Fermented vegetables are another great thing to add to your diet. You can make your own, or you can purchase raw, unpasteurized fermented vegetables, and make sure you incorporate them with every meal. You only need a couple of tablespoons with every meal. I put them in my salad. Sometimes I just have a couple of bites before I start eating my dinner or breakfast or lunch. They're easy to make, and I like using different recipes to add varieties to my meals. So you can use cabbage, you can use carrots, you can use just about any vegetable. I think the cruciferous vegetables work the best for fermentation. That's been my experience, but some of you may have other experiences. But know that the fermented vegetables add probiotics to your gut. They help improve your digestion and restore the proper balance of bacteria in the gut, and they're rich in enzymes which aid in the digestion of food. The last thing that I want to talk about adding to your diet is Himalayan sea salt, or I use the Real, R-E-A-L brand of salt, which comes from a vein in central Utah, I believe Redmond, Utah, and it is non-processed and contains a lot of minerals and iodine. So most of our salt that we buy, the table salt that we buy today, is highly processed, and they use harmful chemicals in the processing. The processing also strips the salt of all minerals and is bleached. It's treated with anti-caking agents that prevent dissolving within our system, within our body, and that leads to the chemical buildup in our bodies. So we want to avoid processed salt if at all possible. Also know that added iodine is usually synthetic, and this can be difficult for our body to process. So that's why I think it's best to stick with Himalayan sea salt or the Real salt, which is Real, R-E-A-L is the brand, and it can be purchased at any grocery store. Both of these contain natural iodine and minerals that increase hydration, regulates water content in our cells, balances pH, helps reduce our acid reflux, improves circulation, and dissolves and eliminates sediment to remove toxins from our body. So, this is a lot of information, and I know it can be hard to take it all in, but I hope you took a lot of notes as I talked through this. Feel free to watch the video again, just because sometimes we need to hear things more than once, and you're going to get more out of the video each time you listen to it. The good news is I have a 5-week body, mind, and soul cleanse that is starting on January 8th, in which I provide you with the system, support, and accountability to help you get in tune with the foods that your body likes and what it doesn't like. I'll walk you through the process and help you eliminate the foods on the foe list and incorporate the foods on the friend list so that it makes it easier for you. If you are interested in having the system, the support, and the accountability to help you get in tune with the foods that your body really likes and doesn't like, be sure to reach out to me to find out more, as I'd love to have you join me. This is my cat sticking his little head up as he just jumped up on my lap. So you'll see his little ears sticking up over the video. He decided to get in on the action, I guess. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I hope you'll consider joining me for the 5-week Body, Mind, and Soul Cleanse. All you need to do to get in touch with me is to click the button below, the Contact Me button below, and send me a message and let's connect. I'd love to talk with you. If you're having troubles deciding, let's schedule some time and just talk through it. You have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.